Hi, welcome to Easy Science International. This is your tutor, Ivan. In this tutorial, we are going to look at the geographical distribution of C3, C4, and CAM plants. Yes, we've been looking at the dark stage. That is the reactions that occur in the dark stage of photosynthesis in these respective plants. Now, basing on their biochemistry, we are going to look at the geographical location of these plants, basically basing on the conditions which favor their physiology or biochemistry. Yes, straight away, we start with the C4 plants. Basically, C4 plants are located majorly in the tropics or in the arid areas. Now, the condition here, we find their high light intensity. They have high light intensity, the tropics we talk about here. Now, which strategy do the C4 plants use in order to stay in the tropics? It is simple. C4 plants use PEP, that is phosphoenolpyruvate, as their initial carbon dioxide acceptor. And this PEP concentrates carbon dioxide around molecules of rubylose bisphosphate, that is RUB, and therefore there is a higher efficiency in the usage of the light, the high light intensity in the arid areas. Yes, C4 plants are also located at moderately high altitudes. Now, the condition here is we have moderately high temperatures, and these temperatures are required in the respiration to produce PEP, which is the initial carbon dioxide acceptor. Remember, it is produced from pyruvate, which occurs in respiration. Now, this respiration occurs at temperatures which are moderately high, around 25 degrees Celsius. Don't forget to subscribe to Easy Science International. Yes, let's look at the CAM plants. Now, CAM plants, we saw that they are Crustacea acid metabolism plants. Now, they are located at low altitudes and in the desert. Now, the conditions which are there, we know that there are high rates of transpiration, and therefore plants which are there are susceptible to excessive loss of water. Now, the CAM plants employ a reversed stomatorhythm. That is, they open their stomata at night and close them during the day. By so doing, they reduce excessive water loss caused by the high rates of transpiration. Then also, we know very well that at low altitudes, we have high oxygen partial pressures. Now, with high oxygen partial pressures, plants which live there are facing a problem of what we call photorespiration, which is a very wasteful process as we looked at in our previous video. Now, these plants, the CAM plants, utilize PEP. We saw PEP as phosphoenolpyruvate as their initial carbon dioxide acceptor. Now, PEP at night fixes carbon dioxide, and then this is reduced actually from oxalic acid to muric acid, which accumulates at night, and during the day it is decarboxylated to concentrate carbon dioxide around the RUB, that is rubylose bisphosphate. Now, by so doing, the higher carbon dioxide concentration around RUB inside the leaf necessitates the process of photosynthesis to occur without the wasteful photorespiration occurring in conditions of high oxygen partial pressures. Basically, that's how we can determine the location of calm plants. And lastly but not the least, we can look at the calm and C4 plants. These plants combined can be found in the tropical vegetation. Now, the condition here is low carbon dioxide concentration. Remember, there is a high competition for carbon dioxide in the tropics because of the canopies which are there. Now, because the calm plants and C4 plants utilize PEP, phosphoenolpyruvate, as their initial carbon dioxide acceptor, which concentrates carbon dioxide around the molecules of rubber, there won't be photorespiration. Remember, in conditions of low carbon dioxide concentration, we expect oxygen to be high. Because the rate of photosynthesis being high, it releases carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Now, this photorespiration won't occur on an account that these plants both use PEP as their initial carbon dioxide acceptor, which concentrates carbon dioxide around rubber, and therefore the wasteful photorespiration doesn't occur. Basically, that's where we can find both plants located. And then, lastly, we look at the C3 plants. C3 plants are located at high altitudes. High altitudes, actually very high altitudes, because we see the conditions here, we have low partial pressures of oxygen. We know very well that C3 plants do not have PEP. They use RUP as their initial carbon dioxide acceptor, and therefore they are susceptible to the wasteful photorespiration. So, being at higher or very high altitudes implies that with the low partial pressures of oxygen, the partial pressures of carbon dioxide are high, therefore there are no chances of engaging our RUP molecules into the wasteful photorespiration. Again, the temperatures are slightly below 25 degrees Celsius. We very well know that the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. Now, these temperatures are favorable for the enzymes, that is rubinose bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase, that carry out photosynthesis in C3 plants. In brief, that's where we find the C3 plants. A simple illustration to illustrate our geographical location of these plants is here. Now this we are basing on altitude. So at low altitude, we see that the conditions which are here, we have very high temperature, as we've seen, and high partial pressures of oxygen. We can find C4 and calm plants correlating these conditions, as you've seen. Then, in the intermediate or the moderate altitude, we expect moderate temperature and high moisture content. Therefore, C4 plants are found at this altitude. We very well saw that these C4 plants require these temperatures around 25 degrees Celsius to call out to respiration that is required to regenerate the PEP molecules, which is their initial carbon dioxide receptor. Then at very high altitudes, or at high altitudes, we have low temperature, slightly below 25 degrees Celsius, and low partial pressures of oxygen. And then we expect C3 plants to tolerate such conditions. Yes. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Easy Science International for those who have been subscribed. Don't forget to comment, leave a comment. It can be a question, it can be a suggestion on what we've presented. We shall surely respond to that, for I respond to any comments every day. Also, share our videos and have a blessed time. I remain Tutor Ivan.